Do you have a slow retracting seatbelt? Well, in this video, let me show you how to take care of that. Welcome everyone, Kelly here from Carcraft Auto Repair, and today I wanted to share a very simple tip for you that seems to be a common issue, especially with older vehicles. And what that is a slow retracting seatbelt, something that doesn't want to go back very quickly. What ends up by being the reason for this is that over time, obviously the seatbelt is on us, we touch it, our clothes, hands, basically like oils, greases, just dirt, everything that comes off of our body slowly over time. You don't realize it. I mean, it may sound a little bit gross or dirty, but hey, I mean, that's just sort of what happens to everybody. What happens is inside the D-ring here, it's basically getting slow movement and it doesn't want to retract. So let me show you how we're going to fix that. First thing we're going to want to do is let's go ahead and let's pull the seatbelt out. So we'll pull it out. You can use a clothespin or whatever you have at home, something that you can clip on to lock the belt in. I'm at the shop, I got vice grips. We'll just clip that on there and we have the belt out. Now we're going to want to clean this. I've seen people rinse these in soap, like dunk in a bucket. I think that's probably a little bit overkill. That would do a really good job, but you got to wait for it to dry, etc, etc. I usually just use some sort of cleaner. I got a Greenworks all-purpose cleaner. You could probably use all types of cleaners. Just be careful if you have black belts and you're using something with bleach. You don't want to change the color for whatever reason. I'm going to just spray some cleaner on a shop towel, and I will probably, just because I have leather seats, it's no big deal, I'm gonna go ahead and just openly spray some of this cleaner on the belt. And we can go ahead and basically just start rubbing the belt down, give it a good wipe, work it back and forth. If you wanted to, you could put yourself down a towel, if you're worried about getting any cleaner or anything on it. If you have really nice seats. Mine are pretty old and junky at this point, so I'm not too concerned about these ones in particular, but you could lay yourself a nice towel down just to protect your area. Here, I'm not worried about getting the cleaner on it. Hey, it will clean my seat at the same time. So you're pretty confident that you've got your belt nice and clean, you've wiped it down thoroughly, and you feel that it's about as clean as it's going to get. Now we'll move on to step 2. So we can go ahead and just let this retract. And the last step, what we're going to do is we're going to clean the D-ring. So what happens, obviously, if the belt is dirty, it's going to be transferring basically the same sort of dirt and grime inside this, and it can make it glide slowly. So what I got here is a piece of sandpaper. You want to use a fairly low grit sandpaper, nothing too coarse like 80 grit or anything. You want to stick to something fairly high. I have a 600 here just because I had that kicking around the shop. This is probably a little bit too light, but it'll do the trick. Something, say maybe around a 400 or 2 to 400 grit, that would work perfect. I've cut it into a strip like this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it underneath the belt and feed it through the other side. Essentially, I've just put it right underneath the belt, and what I'm doing here is I'm just working it back and forth, basically sanding or cleaning the plastic. I wouldn't be too worried about marking it because you're never going to see this area anyways. And I'll spend just maybe a minute here, and I'm just going to work this back and forth and really clean out that plastic and the D-ring, so we know that there's no grime or junk on there, and it's really going to be smooth and sliding in there really well. Now that we've cleaned the D-ring, we've cleaned the belt, we can see. We can see the seatbelt seems to be retracting much better, and I would say that's pretty successful. Simple tip, something you can easily do at home, and pretty important because you don't want your seatbelt having a bunch of slack in it. If that happens, I guess at the exact wrong time, you sit forward or something like that, and that just happens to be when an accident happens. I mean, that extra slack in the belt is potentially dangerous. So something you may not even think about being a big deal, but this is a pretty important thing. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, and consider subscribing to the channel, and we hope to see you again and see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.